let's talk about the actual coaching search, which actually has already unofficially begun. I want to talk about these rumors, if you want to even call them rumors. I think it's just Mike Furio saying shit about the Bears actually being able to trade for a big name head coach, whether it's Sean McVay, whether it's Kyle Shanahan. Mike Furio brought that up, and he even said, I think it was on 670 Score, he also said that he talked to a coach. He was like, why wouldn't it be me? And he didn't say who the coach was. Maybe it was McVay. I don't know. I'll say this. I don't think there's any chance of that happening. I think McVay either comes back or he retires and, he goes into the booth and, stays in LA with his fine ass wife, respectively. I mean, respectfully. And Kyle Shanahan, I just don't think he's going to get fired. I think he's going to be, and the only thing I can see is he decides to leave because he doesn't want to, come back to a possible rebuilding situation, which is what the Bears could sneak in and, trade for his rights if he wants to still coach. But I think he's going to come back as well. But if there's an opportunity where, at least just check in, the worst you can say is no. We even talk about the Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff trade. The Rams just happened to call like, would you want to trade Matthew Stafford? People do check-in calls all the time. Worst thing they can say is no. Check in, see if those guys are available. And if they are, there's no amount of draft picks I won't trade to get one of those two dudes in. Because I look at the coaching search like this. I want to prove a name. I like Ben Johnson. I think Ben Johnson is a phenomenal play caller. I think he puts on masterclass in how to call a game. I don't know if he is a good coach. I don't know if he is the next offensive guru like a Sean McVay, like Kyle Shanahan, like a Matt LaFleur. Or he could be a Matt Nagy. I don't know. I don't know. So there's question marks with him. Everybody is, everybody loves the Mike Vrabel idea. I personally don't like the Mike Vrabel idea. I personally, if I'm going to go with a guy, I'm going with the offensive guy. And not that I'm just it has to be offensive. I want to make things as easy as possible for Caleb, and that I don't have to worry about the offensive coordinator going to another team. And that's what I personally prefer. And I also don't trust the Bears to not only get the head coaching job right, but to get the offensive coordinator job too. I want to make this as simple as possible to them. So I don't hate the idea of Mike Vrabel. I also don't love it. Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame. I know agents speak. That sounds like his agents is trying to get him more money. We usually this from college coaches when they're trying to get more money from their organization. I don't see him leaving as well. But none of these names really, really get me excited. And I don't really care. I just want them to get the right guy. But as far as McVay and Shanahan, I just give a call. And if that's an actual option, if you speak to either one of them and they say, yeah, I'd be interested in coming to Chicago and work with Caleb, I don't think there's any limit. Obviously, you don't want to go crazy, but I'm giving up premium draft capital to get a coach that caliber. And I'm very, very aware of the issues that the Bears still have roster-wise, man. Mikey, what do you think about the rumors with McVay and Shanahan? Are they legit? What would you do if you were in that situation? And just your overall ideas on the coaching search in general.
Yeah, I mean, I think like you said, you have to make that phone call. It doesn't hurt to make the phone call. At the very least, you say no. Last year teams were asking, or last year the Washington Commanders were asking if the Chiefs, if they would trade Patrick Mahomes for their pick. Obviously, that they're gonna give a no, but it doesn't hurt to ask. So I think 100% you call somebody like the Los Angeles Rams and Les Snead, and you see what's up with Sean McVay. I think you call John Lynch and you talk to Kyle Shanahan's people and see, if there is an appetite to leave. But in the end, they're in a very tough spot because, like you said, whoever they hire next year, if it's not Mike Vrabel or Bill Belichick, right? And then some lower names that really I don't even want.
I got you on, Mike. What? I want to talk about the Bill Belichick thing real quick. Yeah. I'm gonna let you go to that. Bill Belichick is the greatest head coach of all time. But to me, bring him back. And by the way, if the Bears hire Bill Belichick, I'm not going to be like, oh, this fucking guy with his 6 rings. I'm not going to be like that. But to me, that would be like if Phil Jackson came back and says, you know what? I love what I see in Ja Morant. I'm going to come coach the Grizzlies. That would be my own. I think he's a little bit past his time.
It's Tony La Russa.
Yeah, right. It's Tony La Russa. That's exactly.
It's Tony La Russa.
He got a little more in the tank to be the La Russa, but yeah, I definitely agree with that. But go ahead.
No, yeah. So, like, you know, when you look at the veteran names of coaches and you want somebody, I've been saying this. I know earlier, a couple weeks ago, you were more on the Ben Johnson, first time OC, fuck it. And now I think you kind of have like gone to like, I think we might need somebody that has done this before. You know, there's not really much to pick from there. You know, my short list, honestly, is Ben Johnson, Mike Vrabel, Dan Lanning from Oregon. But then when you start looking at that, the Chicago Bears do not have the big enough bag nor dick to go swing in Oregon in front of Phil Knight to let Phil Knight let Dan Lanning leave. He will come in.
That nigga Nike stock.
He's going to come in on his helicopter and some Kobe PEs that we've never seen, drop off a big bag of 100 million and jump back on his helicopter and leave. So, you know, and that's the same with Marcus Freeman. The Bears cannot compete with Notre Dame when it comes to paying what it would cost to pull somebody like that. So I'm not even like entertaining that. In the end, for me, I agree with you. I want an offensive guy. When you look at that list, all of the offensive guys that are available this year will be first-time head coaches. Whether that's Thomas Brown, you know, being retained full-time and that being the head coach they go with, this will be his first time as a head coach. Ben Johnson, this will be his first time as a head coach. The reason that I really like Ben Johnson is just because, you know, I see a lot of people trying to do the comparison to Matt Nagy, and we don't want to get Matt Nagy. There's a big difference between the Chrysler 300 and the Bentley, okay? Matt Nagy was running Andy Reid's system and only called plays for 7 games. Ben Johnson has been running his system and has been calling plays for the last 3 years. This is his offense. When he gets to whatever team he goes to, he's running his offense. You know, that's another thing that we're not even talking about with Thomas Brown. He's not running his offense. He's calling the plays and shortening it, but this is still the Shane Waldron playbook because he doesn't have enough time to go ahead and implement his full playbook. So for me, you know, it's a tough spot. Now, if I'm one of these prospective head coaches, the Bears got to tell me why I should be with them. And I don't want to hear this shit that, oh, you know, we got Caleb and we're the most attractive job. We still have the dysfunction at the top, and it is showing more than ever the last, you know, this season and the last couple weeks. And I need to be sure that if I'm leaving Detroit, which is looking like a perennial contender, are you gonna do right by me? Is this act gonna get cleaned up? Because if not, I'll probably never get another head coaching job again if this fails. So there's a lot that's going on, and then there's just also the big elephant in the room that we haven't discussed. Head coaches that come into new jobs every single year want their own GM. Who does Ryan Poles got connect with that a good enough relationship that is going to make any coach feel safe when they come and take this job? Because you might be looking at something where Ryan Poles goes and free it.
Does a Poles got a relationship with Kyle Shanahan? Maybe I'm off, but
with Kyle Shanahan,
I don't
know. Not with Shanahan. He has a relationship with Flores. They would call it
Flores.
Oh, Flores.
He's got the relationship with Flores. So that's the thing. What guy is gonna attach their wagon to Ryan Poles, who might be a sinking GM? You know, that's why I think it's imperative that they go ahead and give. If you know, I think that was the one thing that we did learn is that Ryan Poles will be back next year. You know, from the press conference Monday. Kevin Warren, he
was definitive with that. He said Ryan Poles is and will remain our general manager.
So he needs to put his money where his mouth is and go ahead and give Ryan Poles an extension and make it public right before they go ahead and hire these right before they go into this interview cycle, because that is going to be the one thing that comes out, like how many years are left on his contract and what's good with him. Because if he gets fired, then I might be here next year with a whole nother guy, and I might not be able to bring my guy next year the way I can now, you know. So there's a lot of maneuvering, and you know, like I said in the previous topic, the Bears have nobody to blame but themselves. They're in very, very muddy waters. They have a very bright future with Caleb Williams. I think I think Kyle Shanahan, I think Sean McVay will jump at the opportunity to coach him and be responsible for him for the next, for the next 10 years of his career, the next 8 years. But there's still a lot of uncertainty here. And, it's how you say, Scott, like, do I think they'll interview these people? Yes. Do I think they'll get it right? No.
Yeah, that's exactly how I'm looking at it. Dante, give me your thoughts on the coaching search, and then we'll quick preview the Niners game real quick.
1,000% I would trade for a coach. My God, it's more so. Again, we don't trust them to make the right choice. Everything that can go wrong usually does go wrong for us. And so, also, I know I shit on this guy a lot, but look at a team like Denver, who gave away picks to get Sean Payton. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Like, when you have the opportunity to get a guy who is a proven winner, and it's something that I know he's a talking head, so a lot of what he says is just for clicks. But Colin Cowherd made a good point when he was like, in the NFL, there are like 5 coaches that are like the rock star coaches. When you have them on your sideline, they're better than everybody else, and they put you in a position to win. That's just what it is. That's what it always is in the league. And so, if you have an opportunity to go at Kyle or at Sean, that's definitely something that you would do, because you're talking about 2 of the best offensive minds in the game, and you have an extremely unique talent at quarterback who's shown you the flashes. Season 1, like I can understand if this was something like Mitch or even like Justin, where it was some struggles and you weren't really sure. But we all know what Caleb is. We all know that this guy can be an elite quarterback. And so if you have the opportunity to get a head coach who's a proven winner, who has a proven offensive mind, I know a lot of people don't really care about offensive or defensive. I do, simply because of the talent you have and how unique he is. So I think this would be the perfect opportunity to, again, like we said, do what the Bears don't do, and combine him with an extremely gifted offensive mind and just let them go for the next 10, 12 years and see what we can really do with them. So for me, I would absolutely do it. We have a lot of picks. Of course, this would mean you spend money on the offensive line, and you would have to get those signings right. So, that goes back into trusting Ryan Poles. And do you think he will make the right decisions and sign the right people? But for me, if they pick up the phone, we definitely going to have a conversation. Like I'm with Mikey. You got to at least call. Like, the worst they can tell you is no. They tell you no, you keep it moving, but you got to at least shoot your shot.
100%. And John Lynch said this today about Kyle Shanahan. I found the whole discussion on Kyle rather comical. We've won 4 of the last 5 division championships and been in 2 Super Bowls. The standard here is to win Super Bowls, and we've fallen short. I understand that, but we have an excellent head coach, and the fact people are talking about that, I do find it comical. To me, John Lynch is throwing out there the reasons as to why
he gonna get rid of that nigga.
No. Yeah, he throwing the reasons to me as to, hey, this is why you should call my phone. I just told you his resume.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, people don't realize Kyle Shanahan hired John Lynch to be his GM.
100%.
So and that's another thing
too. It is what John Lynch just said. Like I told y'all, I've been sick the last couple of days, so I've been watching a lot of Succession these last couple of days. It's like that. Like one of the episodes of the final season where Roman, Shiv, and Kendall went to the Pierces, and Nan Pierce like, $8 million. I feel nasty about that. $8 billion, I feel nasty about that. And they're like, we're ready to go to 10. She was like, well, it gives me something to think about. That's how they negotiate. So basically, it may say like, hey, more respect to Cal. I ain't gonna just let him walk, but my phone open. That's what I got from that.
That's 2 first-round picks, a second, and then you giving Kyle $70 million. You know what I'm saying?
And if you're doing all of that, by the way, now we got to move on. We got a lot to go into.
Yeah.
If you're doing all that, by the way, if I'm Kevin Warren, I'm telling Kyle this. Look, if you want another GM, we gonna give Ryan this year. But if this don't work out and you feel like this ain't a dude you can work with, we'll get your GM. Now, that's not going to make Ryan Poles feel good, but when it comes to a coach of that caliber, and granted, I know he won a Super Bowl. I know he's part of the greatest Super Bowl collapse of all time, but still, that's kind of the vibe I feel Kevin Warren going to be on.
You got to start making those.
The game is the game, dog.
I don't think Kevin Warren's going to be on no games. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's them under the table handshakes at this point.
So cool. other line, so I'm not gon' hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gon' hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gon' hold you. Money on the other line.